All right, welcome everyone to the public meeting for the proposed determination for the Dimple Dell Subdivision, Area 57, Book 24, presented by the Utah Division of Water Rights. My name is Ryan Broadbent. I'm the Adjudication Engineering Manager. Also with us tonight, we have Michael Drake, the Assistant State Engineer for the Adjudication Section, and Michael Ferguson, the Assistant Attorney General, part of the team that represents the Division of Water Rights in these adjudications. Just so everyone's aware, today's meeting is recorded and will be posted to our website and YouTube channel for future reference for anybody who would like to view it. And that will include all questions sections at the end. So this is a public meeting for the Dimple Dell proposed determination that was filed on July 29th with the Third District Court in Salt Lake City. Kind of going to our agenda. Our agenda for tonight is to present the adjudication process and show the progress of the Dimple Dell subdivision in this process. We will review an overview, or we will review the proposed determination document and demonstrate its various components and talk about how to read parts and how to interact with it. We will also present the hydrographic survey maps that were prepared as part of this process and show you how to read those and view those on our website. We will discuss options of how to access these documents. We'll have a period of questions at the end. These questions can be proposed either live in the chat with your microphone, or you can email them to us at this email address. We'll try and monitor that during the meeting. So let's go to the next slide. The general stream adjudication. What is it and why do we do it? What it is an action in the state district court that joins all water users, including state and federal agencies, and the state engineer, who is the representation of the Division of Water Rights. It is governed by Utah State Code, Title 73, Chapter 4, and its purpose is to determine the nature and extent of all existing water rights within each river drainage. And you see a small map of the river drainages. The one we're dealing with tonight is the Utah Lake Jordan River section right here in the middle in purple. And that includes all the Provo River, Jordan River drainages to the Great Salt Lake, including Utah Lake. Why do we do a stream adjudication? That is to bring all the claims onto the permanent record. The state of Utah was formed as a state in the late 1800s, but water rights were not formalized until 1903, and when the state took ownership of all rights, and they required them to be processed through the state at that point. But we had been using water from the time that the settlers came in, and probably even before that with some of the natives. So we also want to bring all those pre-statutory claims onto the record. We do that with diligence claims, underground water claims, and then any Federal Reserve rights that may be out there as well. We also want to prevent a multiplicity of suits and bring clarity to the water rights picture. We do that with one giant court case that brings all of these together and resolves everything up to this date and moves forward. And this also helps to remove rights which have not been wholly or partially which have been wholly or partially forfeited through non-use. And this allows us to obtain a final comprehensive decree on all water rights within the respective drainage. So moving on, we'll discuss the adjudication process. So the adjudication process, as laid out before you, kind of consists of three phases here. We've got the initiation phase where we perform a petition to the court, which was done September 5th of 1944. And then the Dimple Dell Subdivision was started in July of 2008 by sending out a notice of commencement of the area. This was followed on July 6th by a summonsing all registered landowners, water right owners, and registered agents in the area that they will be summoned to be participating in this court process. All of this was followed up by a public meeting that was held July 17th, 2018 to kind of initiate the public period of what we're doing and how they could participate and what they needed to do to participate in this. The next phase is what's kind of lined out in blue here, is kind of the claim filing phase. And this was started on July 27th, 2018, when we sent out a notice to file claims within 90 days to, again, any registered landowner, any registered water right owner, and any registered agents in the area. And this essentially was a notice to file a claim if you are using a water right. And those claims were brought into us, and we associated any of them that we had water rights for with their particular water right. And we also filed any that were not associated with a water right. They were given a file and classified as a pending adjudication claim. Any water rights on our record that were not claimed during this phase went on a list of unclaimed rights. This list of unclaimed rights was prepared and sent to the court with the idea that they are unclaimed and that they will be abandoned by the court by a legal process. So this list of unclaimed rights was published with the court January 17th, 2019, which kicked off a 90-day objection period that allowed people to object to their right being included on the LUR and get that pulled off and get a claim filed and bring it in as part of the adjudication that we're doing today. During that 90-day objection period, we held another public meeting to discuss the list of unclaimed rights, what it is, what it was going to do, and how you could get your rights taken off of that list if you found them on there in error. After the 90-day period, any objections that were received went into a resolution time frame, and we began to work with those owners to resolve those objections to the LUR. And once all those objections were resolved, the LUR was decreed, and all of the rights on that list of unclaimed rights were abandoned by the court. And that put us into our final phase, kind of the claim investigation period and proposed determination, which is where we're at today. So from May 14th of 2019 till present, we have been investigating those claims that were received by our office. Now, investigation includes us coming to site, examining the point of diversion where you're pulling water and how you're putting that water to beneficial use. All those investigations, and we investigated every claim that we received as part of the claim filing period. We investigated them all, and we put them all into a document we called the proposed determination. That proposed determination was filed with the court on July 29th and is the final process that says, Judge, this is all of the water rights in the area that have been claimed, and we have investigated them, and this is our recommendation of how they should be represented on the decree and moving forward on our files. Filing that date on July 29th kicked off another 90-day objection period where people can file objections to the recommendations made in the proposed determination. And that 90-day objection period goes until October 27th of 2022. Today, we're holding the public meeting again to discuss the proposed determination, let people know how they can file objections, or how to just read the proposed determination to see how your water right was represented. Once we pass that 90-day objection period, we'll enter another objection resolution period where we'll work with anybody that's filed an objection to correct any mistakes we may have made or to properly display their water right as they feel they need it done. Ultimately, we want to seek an interlocutory decree which will decree these water rights and put them on our record in a decreed form and move forward from that day forward. So let's move on to talking about the proposed determination document. The proposed determination document contains the title page, the notice to water users, a preamble, locations and duty maps, priority schedules, description of water rights, description of share statements, a list of renumbered rights, a list of forfeited rights, and then the alphabetical index to help kind of navigate through the proposed determination. First up, the title page. There's a couple pieces of information that are important on this title page. The first piece being this is the district court, or the Third Judicial District Court, where the case is being reviewed and where these proposed determination has been filed. This is a description or the name of the case and the civil number. The civil number does refer to this specific book and hydrologic division, the Salt Lake County East Division, the Dimple Dell Subdivision. And it is known on our records as area number 57, book 24. The next page is the notice to water users. And there's a couple of pieces of information on here. Again, the civil case number and judge is repeated here just to keep the information out. And then another important piece of information here is the instructions on filing an objection. We are in that 90-day period to file this objection, and we would like you to file that both with our office and with the district court, and should be in writing. I know that we have possibly put together form letters to help you with these objections. They are available on the court website and potentially on ours. If you're having an issue, I'm sure you can email us and we could help you find the appropriate documents to work through an objection. The next part of the proposed determination is the preamble. And this is kind of the legal language of the proposed determination, kind of describing all the areas, how the state engineer reviewed these, and how these reviews were done. One of the important pieces of this proposed determination is the prior decree section. A lot of the Salt Lake Valley was previously partially adjudicated with the surface water, and we want to recognize these prior decrees as part of these new adjudication decrees that we're seeking. And so we do want to point out that this one, the Dry Creek Reservoir and Irrigation versus Dry Creek or Draper Irrigation Company decree, is referenced and is fully evaluated and reviewed as part of this adjudication as well. This is the location map. This is the general area that is being adjudicated as part of this proposed determination. And you can kind of see the Dimple Dell Subdivision is bounded by 700 East on the west, Little Cottonwood Road on the north, Dimple Dell Road on the south, and then extends up to the extents of the drainage up the Wasatch Mountains. And these mountain drainages will include Bell Canyon, Middle Fork Dry Creek, and South Fork Dry Creek. Another part of the proposed determination is a duty map. So when we reviewed these claims, we reviewed the irrigation based on a duty. And this duty was either 5 acre-feet per acre or 4 acre-feet per acre, depending on the elevation of the parcel of land that was being irrigated. And this map just kind of denotes that the 5,200-foot elevation line is the demarcation between those two areas. If you're below the 5,200 feet, you'll be evaluated on a 5 acre-foot per acre basis. If you're above it, it's a 4 acre-foot per acre basis. And all that is described in the preamble. The next part of the proposed determination is the priority schedule. And this is important in Utah because water is distributed based off prior appropriation. And this priority date schedule determines who gets the water first. So there's a couple pieces to this that we'll look at real quick. This will identify the water source. We'll identify a priority date of that right. We'll identify either the flow rate or annual volume of water that's allowed to be taken, the water right number that is represented of this diversion of water, and the current owner of record. Now, this owner of record may not be the current person that believes they own it, but this is the owner that is on our records and is represented as part of the proposed determination to date. This can be updated with our office by using a report of conveyance for the water right, which needs to be filed with our office. The next part is the big part of the proposed determination, and this is the description of water rights. So every water right that we received a claim on will have an entry in the proposed determination in this fashion. So if we want to look at some of the components of what these descriptions are kind of detailing here. First is the water right number. This is the file number that is used in our office to find the information related to this particular water right. This will have the name of the owner and any ownership interest remarks. This is the type of right and quantity of water, so how it was originated and how much water is allowed to be diverted. The priority date and the source, when it was first diverted and where it comes from. This one's an underground water well, first diverted July 11th of 1967. Another piece of information is where that point of diversion is located. And we use the public land survey system to identify where this well would be located on the grid. This one's located in section 14 of Township 3 South, Range 1 East. And this is an 8-inch well, gives well data if it's available. The next piece is the water use group, and this is basically the group of how the water is being placed to beneficial use. This one, nature of beneficial use, is how that use is being done. This one is an irrigation right. This is for a period of April 1st to October 31st, which is a typical irrigation season in Utah, for a sole supply of 1.83 acres and a group total of 3.55 acres. Now, these beneficial uses are important because this is the measure of how water is determined in the state of Utah. If you're not putting your water to beneficial use, it's subject to forfeiture, which we'll discuss later. So this is also a very important piece, is the place of use, where the water is being put to use. And these beneficial use groups do have a table that kind of describes where the water is being placed to use. And kind of walking through this table, this would be the section, township, and range where the water is being used. We'll place an X in the individual quarter sections, which are identified up here. So this water right is used quite extensively in a lot of these quarter sections for a total of 98.52 acres. Another piece of information here would be the general comments. General comments are other descriptive pieces needed that should describe how this water right needs to be looked at. This one, typically, when we went out in the field, we found that they had relocated the point of diversion without filing a change application, and we've identified that and placed that on the comment to remind them to file that change application with the state to bring this water right into compliance. The next piece in the proposed determination is the description of share statements. Now, share statements are not necessarily a water right by themselves. They are a representation of a shareholder's underlying uses of the water right of a irrigation company's water. So this would be in the case where a owner of a share in an irrigation company begins using his water for a different purpose that the irrigation company is on board with. He would file a change application with our office, and a share statement would be prepared. We have included these share statements in the proposed determination so we get a better picture of the water right or the water usage in the area, although they are not considered to be decreed at this point. They are more for informational purposes. But pieces of these share statements would include a file number, an ownership, and you see this one is done between Sandy City, the filer of the change application, and Bell Canyon Irrigation Company, the owner of the right. The share statement all have a basis. This is based on 1,828 shares of Bell Canyon Irrigation Company. And then the priority of the change. And you also see quantity of water and then the source of this water. The next section is the renumbered rights. Renumbered rights will be identified with an old water right number and a new water right number. Renumbering is typically when we find that two water rights represent the same uses, same priority dates, same owners. We will renumber them into a single right to remove the duplication from our database. The next section is the forfeited rights. Rights are subject to forfeiture in Utah when they have not been used for a period of 7 years and are not afforded the protections that there's a few ways that they can be protected by state statute. So any rights that have been considered forfeited as we did our investigation will be listed here. Now, this does only include rights that are 100% forfeited. If your right suffered partial forfeiture, meaning we went out and found that you weren't using it to the full beneficial use extent of the right, it may be subject to a partial forfeiture, and you would have to determine that based on its previous version versus what we've proposed in the proposed determination. So a couple pieces here. Again, you've got the water right number, you've got the name of the owner of record, and you've got the point of diversion and source, so the location and what it is, an underground water well in this case. The last piece of the proposed determination is the alphabetic index. And this just lists water rights in their descriptions based on the owner names. So if you know who the owner of a water right is, you don't know what the number is, you can come look it up here, find the water right, find which page number it's on in the proposed determination. So just walking through it, you got your name of your owners, point of diversions, water right numbers, page numbers in this proposed determination. So the next piece we want to look at is the hydrographic survey maps. These hydrographic survey maps were prepared as part of the claim investigation, where we went out in the field, we mapped the irrigation that was identified as being part of the water right and the beneficial use of the water right. And we prepared these maps that were also filed as part of this proposed determination. A couple of pieces to look at when you're looking at these hydrographic surveys. You've got your north arrow and scale bar. You got your map legend, which identifies book boundaries, townships, ranges, water courses, and then group numbers. These are polygons are identified by the group number that we saw as part of that water right description, and then it does also list which water rights are part of that group. And they will be also identified on the map with a label next to those individual irrigation polygons. And then we also have the location map of where in the subdivision this particular page is looking at. So let's discuss next how to access the proposed determination. So we sent out a notice of this proposed determination, and we sent it to water right owners listed on the records of the state engineer in this book, any claimants who submitted claims in the Dimple Dell adjudication, any registered agents for corporate entities owning water rights or having filed claims within the adjudication boundary, and any counsel of record who have filed an appearance in the court. The proposed determination document can be accessed via the website at www.waterrights.utah.gov/pdbook/DimpleDellPD. You can also obtain a hard copy from our office for a nominal fee, and this has also been filed at the district court, and I believe they have a way that you can ask them for a copy of that filing. The hydrographic survey map can be accessed on our website as well at waterrights.utah.gov/pdbooks/DimpleDellHS. And again, hard copies can be viewed at our office. So who can I contact to discuss this adjudication process and the Dimple Dell subdivision? Again, you can contact Michael Drake, the Assistant State Engineer, who's in the meeting here with us. You can contact me, the Adjudication Engineering Manager, and our phone numbers and emails are listed here. You can also call just our general adjudication line, which will be received in our office and directed to appropriate personnel. And again, you can also stop into the Division of Water Rights at this address or visit our website at waterrights.utah.gov. So at this time, we will open up the floor to any questions about this proposed determination or the process as you see fit. Thank you.
If I could clarify just one point, Ryan, about objections. You noted that objections, objections can only be filed with the court. I think you inadvertently said the objections were filed with our office as well. It's exclusively with the courts. So just that little point of clarification.
Okay, yeah, they do have to be filed with the court. And they do need to be in writing. So I'm not seeing any questions at this time. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.